All right, welcome. So this character dies. Okay. Sympathy with the character. Jill Sobule, the singer-songwriter known for I Kissed a Girl, has died in a fire. This is a video right here. Obviously, I'm not gonna really play all of it, but just so we can get a little bit of an idea here, right? Came over and told me about bread. And I got it, it's turned down just a little bit, all right? Or, the speed. Handsome guy asked me to make it better. Try to catch what like the hook. They call it the hook. We had a drink, we took off for I kissed a girl. All right, I kissed a girl. I kissed a girl. Oh, kind of a catchy tune. Nice little video, right? All right, so this character, she passes, Jill Sobule, American singer-songwriter, obviously, best known for this 1995 single, I Kissed a Girl, and a song called Supermodel as well, from the soundtrack of the 1995 film Clueless. I remember that movie. They say that this character dies in a house fire. Now, she had this song Supermodel from that soundtrack Clueless. We're gonna put that in the calculator, and we'll look at that just kind of on the fly here as well. Okay, wow, I see something amazing here. On the fly, we always hit on the fly like this. We always hit on the fly like this, okay? So we'll come back and we'll look at this catch right here on the fly with the song Supermodel that she has. So you see it right there in the Gematria calculator. We'll come back to that, and we're going to come back to that fairly quick. All right, so she was 66 years old. She dies in a house fire. Her death was confirmed by her publicist, David Elkin, in an email Thursday afternoon. It was not immediately clear how the fire in Woodbury, Minnesota started. Jill Sobule was a force of nature and human rights advocate whose music is woven into our culture. John Porter, her manager, said in a statement, I was having so much fun working with her. I lost a client and a friend today. I hope her music, memory, and legacy continue to live on and inspire others. During her more than 3 decades of recording, Sobule released 12 albums. And that addressed such complex topics as the death penalty, anorexia nervosa. Anorexia nervosa. I don't know what nervosa is, but I know what anorexia is. Also reproduction and LGBTQ issues, of course, right? Okay, so we can kind of go off of that for now. So they're not giving us much details on the house fire, right? Not immediately clear how the fire in Woodbury, Minnesota started, okay? That's what they're saying here. And here, we can go ahead and play this.
We're learning more about a singer and songwriter who died in a house fire in Woodbury.
While police investigate what happened, others are remembering her lasting impact. Leah Bino joins us from the Live Center with more. Good morning, Leah.
Good morning. Yes, representatives for Jill Sobule say firefighters found her dead inside of a burning home on Pinehurst Road yesterday morning. The cause of that fire is still under investigation, but here's a sampling of some of her work.
I don't care what my teacher says. I'm gonna be.
All right. Oh, okay. I know that song. And I do remember that song from the movie Clueless.
Supermodel and everyone.
You likely recognize that one. The award-winning artist is known for having a few songs, including Supermodel. You may recognize this track from the 90s rom-com Clueless, which helped to cement Sobule's popularity.
She took off her overcoat. I kissed.
Which we already kind of heard that.
She was also known for her hit in 1995, this song, I Kissed a Girl. It was the first openly gay-themed song to crack the Billboard Top 20 more than a decade before Katy Perry made a song of the same name. Her other songs didn't quite...
Yep, and Katy Perry made a song of the same name, and we'll get into that a little bit.
Reached the same level of mainstream success, but they received positive reviews by critics and fans. Sobule was scheduled to perform songs from her one-woman musical today at a music venue in her hometown of Denver, Colorado. Instead, they will be holding a free informal gathering there tonight.
You know what's interesting? Her hometown is Denver, Colorado. Okay, we just had Shannon Sharp, who's still trending, who was a member of the Denver Broncos. Okay. He's got a SA situation going on right now. Denver Broncos, Shannon Sharp, former member of that team. John Elway was also trending with like some sort of golf cart accident, which I saw. I still haven't fully looked into that story, but that resulted in a death, right? And we had Shedeur Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes, falling to the 5th round in the draft, going to the Cleveland Browns. But we get that Colorado connection, Denver connection, right? And now we get this character who's out of Denver. And they said she was scheduled to perform. I think this news lady said she was scheduled to perform like the day she died or the day after she died, something like that.
Didn't quite reach the same level of mainstream success, but they received positive reviews by critics and fans. Sobule was scheduled to perform songs from her one-woman musical today at a music venue in her hometown of Denver, Colorado. Instead, they will be holding a free informal gathering there tonight in her honor.
Yeah, scheduled to perform, and then she RIPs.
She was 66 years old. I was looking at her website, and apparently she had a pretty active concert run just this month and continuing. So a lot of questions around this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we will, of course, bring you the latest updates once we learn more from investigators. Thank you, Leah.
Okay. Now look. She passes in a house fire. Look at... you got to be kidding me. House fire. Look at the release date of I Kissed a Girl by Jill Sobule. Look at that. May 2nd. Look at that. May 2nd. Can you believe that? And May 2nd was Friday. She dies one day after she dies one day before the 30th anniversary of this song's release date. Okay? Wow, so the 30th anniversary was Friday of this release date, I Kissed a Girl. And she dies one day before that. And they're not going to tell you that, right? And house fire equals 52 and fire equals 25? Wow, fire equals 25, house fire equals 52. And that's how she dies, and that's the release date of this song, May 2nd, 5/2, or the second day of the 5th month, 25. House fire and fire, and that's how she dies. And remember, we caught that on the fly. Supermodel was the other song. Supermodel's got that 5/2 right there. The song off the soundtrack Clueless, the movie. Look at that. Supermodel's got the 52 right there on the fly, okay? How about that? Supermodel's got that 52 as well. Wow. I mean, that's a huge hit right there. And I Kissed a Girl, they said, right? Katy Perry had I Kissed a Girl. And you should have heard him mention it in that news story as well. Katy Perry, I Kissed a Girl. It's not a coincidence. The death of Jill Sobule, who did I Kissed a Girl before Katy Perry. It's not a coincidence. Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl releases a few days before Jill Sobule's death, right? Jill Sobule, she passes 5/1, May 1st. It's not a coincidence. Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl released April 28th, just a few days before that, but back in 2008. Okay? So so that was the 17-year anniversary of Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl. Jill Sobule dies a few days after the 17th anniversary, as she dies May 1st, Thursday. Wow, right? And Katy Perry does this song as well. K like kissed, as in I Kissed a Girl. Okay, you see that? And you see that was released on the 28th in 2008, like 28, right? So it's not a coincidence you get these songs and the release date anniversaries, and now Jill Sobule dies right around that time. And then House Fire syncs up with that release date right there. She dies in a house fire, even with fire syncing up with the date. And look at look at this on the fly. Reach number 20 on the US Billboard Modern Rock Tracks chart. Look, number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100. She dies in her 67th year of life. She dies at age 66, but she's in her 67th year of life. Remember, you're born, you're 0, live a year, turn 1, but you're entering your second year of life when you're 1 year old. So she's in her 67th year of life and she dies. And this song reaches number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100. It's not a coincidence that they said she was beefing with Katy Perry. Jill Sobule dies at 66. I Kissed a Girl singer who feuded with Katy Perry. mourned as cause of death revealed. You see that? Maybe it was over the song. Let's see if Google will answer that question real quick. Why was Jill Sobule beefing with Katy Perry? Had choice words for Katy Perry after she had a hit with I Kissed a Girl, the same title as her breakthrough song. Okay. Offered a profanity-laden statement about Katy Perry's song. So I guess they were just kind of beefing over the song, I guess. But that's not a coincidence as well. And don't forget, Katy Perry has been trending with the moon stuff, right? The Blue Origin space crew, right? 11-minute trip to space. So, that's what they say, right? But she's been trending. And even her husband, Russell Brand, has been trending for all the wrong reasons. For the same issues as Shannon Sharp, allegedly, right? SA and Grape. Okay, and we mentioned Shannon Sharp earlier. And, remember Jill Sobule is out of Denver. And remember Shannon Sharp played for the Denver Broncos in the NFL. So you see that connection there with Russell Brand and Katy Perry also. So they're even beefing, or were beefing. Obviously, they had that same song. And I think it's interesting that I had this breakdown. Over 2 million Ninja branded pressure cookers are recalled after reports of serious burn injuries. That may be a stretch, but burn injuries, and that was the last story that I did on my channel. And then, we have this Jill Sobule house fire, obviously house fire, like, like being burned, right? So we have the serious burn injuries with the Ninja branded, I forgot what was the full name of this, Ninja Shark or whatever, or Shark Ninja or whatever it was. But we have these serious burn injuries being reported and this recall. So we have that story right around this house fire story. That may be a little bit of a stretch, but I thought it was worth putting it in there. Look how Fire even has 29 like Jill, and she dies in a house fire. You see that? Fire's got 29 like Jill. You see right there, she died the first day of the 5th month, and that was 15 weeks after her birthday. Her birthday, January 16. She dies 15 weeks later, which is 1/5, on the first day of the 5th month, 1/5. And notice that as she died 15 weeks before the first day of 5th month, or excuse me, she died 15 weeks after her birthday on the first day of the 5th month, right? 1/5, 15 weeks is the same as 105 days, which is also like 1/5. So her death date syncs up here when you factor in her birthday, as she dies 15 weeks after her birthday, which is the same as 105 days. And she dies on the first day of the 5th month. So 1/5, 1/5, 1/5. And notice how her birthday was one day after January 15, which is 1/15. You see that? So her birthday is on 1/16. Okay. And that right there, so you see that right there, and you see how the 1/16 comes into play here. because Jill equals 16. And remember, Jill synced up with fire with the 29. And this is the language, right? Letters converted to numbers. This is a code. Jill equals 16. Born on the 16th day of the year. House fire equals 106, like 16. And it's not a coincidence that house fire is going to sync up so many ways with the fire there. And then the release anniversary, or you could just say the release date of I Kissed a Girl, which was on 5/2, and then Fire 25. It's not a coincidence that all of that is going to hit so perfectly, okay? Right? You see that again? And so she's born in 1959. Look at how she's born in 59 up here on the right. And I Kissed a Girl released in 95, the reverse, and even Supermodel from the soundtrack of the 95 film Clueless. You see that? So you get the 95 59 connection when you if you look right up there on the right. Even singer, this is a singer songwriter, okay? Singer equals 36 in two bass ciphers. Jill Sobule also equals 36, and it's in the same cipher as a singer right there, 36, but then we have that extra 36 in the reverse reduction cipher. So Buell S, singer S, songwriter S. Remember, we have a Denver Shannon Sharp connection, Shannon Sharp SS. And Colorado Buffaloes, Shador Sanders SS. So more S's here. And something else with this 36, Jill Sobule and singer 36 in the language. When we come back here, number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 36 on the Australian ARIA singles chart. Or unless they say ARIA, but that 36 is what I'm talking about. So that 36 hits with her name and also hits with singer right there. Okay, so that hit big.
Tonight, the music community is mourning the loss of Denver-born singer-songwriter Jill Sobule. She died in a house fire near Minneapolis this morning. She was 66 years old. Sobule's 1995
She died
single,
near Minneapolis, I guess, Minnesota.
1995 single, I Kissed a Girl, was the first openly LGBTQ themed song to chart on the Billboard Top 20.
LGBTQ. Let's go over here. LGBTQ. Right there. Let's go ahead and put in GAY, as they wanted us to know that. Ooh! Right there. I Kissed a Girl. Look at that. GAY. Look at that. 1-5. And this character dies on the first day of the 5th month. 1-5. 15 weeks after her birthday, which is one day after 1/15, which is like 1/5. And remember, 15 weeks dying after her birthday, 15 weeks is the same as 105 days, which is like 15. Look at that. GAY, I Kissed a Girl. GAY equals 15. Also 48, like Clueless. Look at that right there. And look, it syncs up with that ninja story too. You get the 48 and 33 with the Shark Ninja pressure cooker. So maybe that wasn't such a stretch. And look, it was recalled. Recalled even has the 33 and 48. And remember, that was for serious burn injuries. And this character dies in a house fire like burn, right? Burn injuries. Look at that. So GAY has the 48 like Clueless. She has the Supermodel song from the movie Clueless. So you see that right there. This is why we go on the fly. We catch these connections. Some of these other numbers might land as well. Look, Clueless has 120 like 12. GAY 12. Look at that. Along with that 48 there. And some of these other numbers may hit, but that works for now, doesn't it?
Tonight, the music community is mourning the loss of Denver-born singer-songwriter, 66 years old. Sobule's 1995 single, I Kissed a Girl, was the first openly LGBTQ-themed song to chart on the Billboard Top 20. Another one of her hits, Supermodel, featured prominently in the movie Clueless. Sobule was set to perform at Tuft Theater here in Denver tomorrow night. Instead, there will be a gathering there to remember her.
All right. I'm going to look at the article a little bit here. And even the fire in Woodbury, Minnesota, you get wood, which burns, right? And you get bury, Woodbury. Bury is almost like burn. You just got the Y instead of the N with where this fire was and this death, okay? She also released 12 albums. Okay? She released 12 albums, and remember, in the language GAY 12, Clueless 120 like 12. So she releases 12 albums that addressed, again, such complex issues: death penalty, anorexia, reproduction, and LGBTQ plus issues. Her first album, Things Here Are Different, was released in 1990, 5 years later. She received widespread attention for her hit singles, obviously Supermodel from the movie Clueless, I Kissed a Girl, which we already brought up, despite being banned on several southern radio stations, made it into the Billboard Top 20. She was known for taking control of her career by fundraising. Oh, and check this out. In 2008, after two major record companies dumped her and two indie labels went bankrupt beneath her, she raised tens of thousands of dollars from fans so she could make a new album. And remember, 2008, that's the same year that Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl released, and that was on the 28th of April. Remember, Jill Sobule dies a few days after that 17-year anniversary of that release of Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl. So you see that? That was 2008 with Katy's release, and we get 2008 here in the story. Check that out. All right. So yeah, that's oh, and they're mentioning The Simpsons, which is another S. She performed with such icons as Neil Young, Billy Bragg, and Cyndi Lauper, and also, excuse me, I just ate some peanuts. But also inducted Neil Diamond into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. According to her website, she also sang a song as herself on an episode of The Simpsons in 2019. So that's another S, and her last name Sobule, S. Okay. Survived by her brother and sister-in-law James and Mary Ellen Sobule, along with her nephews and cousins. So they're not giving us a lot of information on that house fire, right? So some of those connections are undeniable with the 5225 and the release of that song on May 2nd. She dies one day before the release anniversary, the 30-year anniversary. That is not a coincidence. And then Katy
Tonight,
Perry's
the
release
music
April 28th, and she dies right after that anniversary of that I Kissed a Girl from Katy Perry. That's everything I entered. Even singer-songwriter has 95. I don't know if we caught that earlier. But those songs released in 95 that she's known for, right? And she's born in 59, which is the reflection. But look, that's everything I entered there. Oh, I left Lakers in there. But that's everything entered. As you see again, barely anything. See? And we get all of these connections there, okay? I was just I noticed we had some other numbers that we hit on the fly. House fire equals 47, okay? And she dies in a house fire. And supermodel equals 47. She's known for that song Supermodel from that movie Clueless as well. And there may be some other numbers here, but I'm not going to try to match them up. We connected pretty heavy with these already. But yeah, some of these other numbers may match as well with what I already have in the breakdown. But I don't want to be like too tedious right here. We already connected heavy here. I'll just scan back and just kind of look at some of these connections again. All right, so Jill Sobule, singer songwriter known for "I Kissed a Girl," has died in a house fire. And there's obviously more information I could have done, but I try to keep these around 20 to 30 minutes. So that'll be my breakdown. RIP the character, RIP with the death here. She kind of looks like Ellen DeGeneres, doesn't she? Just a little bit, huh? She kind of looks like Ellen. So there may be some connections there as well. If anybody's watching, they can go maybe see if there's any connections there. Drop it in the comments. Shout out to y'all. Until next time.